right, and welcome to the Crowjo. I was going to talk about the California fires, and I noticed a lot of folks out there are donating money, and I'm not really that thrilled about donating money back to Gavin Newsom or to Karen Bass. I think they were both poorly managed. Give an example. On January 2nd, the National Weather Service warned of high wind and fire threat, and she decided to fly to Africa right at the time of her highest risk of fire. And also, when she left on January 2nd, the DWP CEO, Quinones, who makes $750,000 a year, decided the Palisades Reservoir, it needed to be repaired, and they dumped all the water out in the ocean, and they had no water for 11 months ongoing. It would take for repairs, the officials said it would take a month to fix this canvas cut, but they could have kept it anyway because of fire. They dumped all the water out. So when the fire department did show up to try to put out the fires, there was no water, especially with high winds. It put the fire department, everyone in danger, and people actually lost their lives in that. And it's amazing that the firefighters still were able to do what they could with what they had. But Quinones never fixed the water, ever, for 11 months ongoing. How could you do that during this type of fire season unless you are totally inept? And it really galls me that no one wants to talk about it. It's like I watched 60 Minutes, and what they did there, it was like a very weak journalistic approach. They needed to get to the facts of it, of what happened with the water, what happened with Mayor Bass. Why did she go during the highest risk in Los Angeles to Africa when she told that she would never travel out of the country as mayor during her campaign speeches? And here she does during the worst time. The fire department was cut $26 million, and the money went to DEI and equity. And I noticed that Quinones, that was her biggest thing at the DWP, was the equity. The lens of equity needs to be looked at all aspects of employment. Well, one of them is, how about do your job? Instead of looking at your skin color or who you sleep with, maybe, just maybe, you should concentrate on the water, because you cost people lives. Now, on January 1st, there was a fire problem up in LA with people setting off fireworks, and the fire department put that out. But what happens with fireworks and with wood, that when the winds kick up, I guess wood can burn for long periods of time. In January 6th, the winds kicked it up and started the fire over. And these are 100-mile-an-hour winds. So that fire, the particles, especially palm trees, I don't know if you ever see a palm tree burn, but they're really high. And when they burn, they start letting off a little bit of the plant itself, and it spreads like wildfire. It is the worst plant for spreading fires. So not only did they have that, the fire department was understaffed due to budget cuts, and the leaders never clear-cutted any of the vegetation that needed to be clear-cut. Clear-cut means wiping out vegetation in areas, doing burns where they burn certain areas so there's no fuel for the fire to go to. None of that was done because the environmentalists said, no, you can't do that. It has to be all high vegetation. And then with the rains, it caused a massive fuel. This was like the perfect storm. And California, our SoCal Edison is also faulty. All their electrical equipment is old, and they have these huge salaries that everybody makes over at SoCal Edison, and then they retire with this golden parachute, but they don't fix the problem of fire, changing the electrical boxes, the wiring, fire safety issues, and it looks like they're going to be hit with major lawsuits. The other problem is homelessness. Now, up in the mountains, in order to keep warm, people that do drugs and drink or on the run, need to keep warm at night because it is cold. And so what they do is they build fires. And when they're high and drunk and pass out, those fires spread. And 50% of the fires in Los Angeles are caused by homeless. And Karen Bass put all that money, millions and millions of dollars into helping the homeless. And now we're at 40% higher than before in Los Angeles. I don't recommend going down Skid Row to experience what I experienced. It looks like a third world country, actually a fourth world country, because some of the third world countries down in Mexico aren't as bad as what I saw in Skid Row. Now, the looting is the other problem. They will not stop the looting because there's so many people looting, and then the police are stretched out along with the fire department. I'm out here in San Bernardino, Riverside area, and if there's a fire out here, most of our resources are in the high risk zones right now of fire in Los Angeles, so we're kind of left wide open. But with the looting, they said there was only like a couple hundred people. There's couple thousand people because a lot of the looters don't know about the new DA, but the judges are letting some of these people go early. The guy with the blowtorch that was setting trash cans and trees on fire, they let him out. And he's not even an American citizen. He came here illegally. And you know how FEMA gives you $775 for your traumatic incident? Well, the guy that set the fires gets $1,200 a month from California. He gets more than the fire victims. Think about that. Yeah, they pass that up. You can look it up. If you don't believe me, look it up online. The legislation in Sacramento decided to give everybody that comes to this country illegally in California $300 a week. Plus, don't forget free food, free transportation, free education, free technical training, free medical. It gets to the point where, what about Americans first? But the police are doing what they can, and the new DA is scaring some of the criminals away, but not all of them. They caught one guy with over $200,000 worth of stuff in his truck that he had looted out of high-end areas. What is the cost? What's this going to cost to rebuild Los Angeles? Some estimates $250 billion. Good God, that's so much money. And why would you give it to Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, the people that created this mess? But maybe it fits into their agenda. They don't want people to live out in the suburbs. They don't want a house where you could have a family and a yard and everything. They want little cubicles. So this might work into their agenda because they'll have all the money and then they'll go, well, you can't build a suburb house anymore because it might be a fire hazard. But they're the ones who caused it. Do you understand that? That they caused this fire by not clear cutting, by not giving enough resources to the fire department or enough staff. And the DWP, the lady that makes $750,000, have the water ready. What? And where was the fire department captain there? Hey, you know what? You should be checking to see where the water is because the DWP doesn't do their job. They're overpaid and they don't do it and they never get fired. None of these people are going to get fired. You're going to see Gavin Newsom recall stuff, but the unions are going to rehire him right back up. It's just like bad teachers in my teachers union. I've seen people that are terrible teachers. They never get fired. The only ones who they threaten to fire is you speak out. And that would be somebody like me because I pointed out how bad it is to see some of the woke progressives preaching about their policies. And but I digress. Let's get back into the fire. Now, they want to spend, I guess in Sacramento right now, Gavin Newsom has $50 million set to fight all of Trump's policies. The same President Trump that is going to be giving them money to rebuild Los Angeles. Now think about that. They're the cause of the fire. And they're fighting President Trump because he wants to deport illegals that cost billions of dollars. And some that set the fires that in Los Angeles, the illegal that had the blowtorch. No, Gavin Newsom wants to protect him. Same with Karen Bass. It is a sick religious thing. I don't even get it. There's no common sense here. When I deal with woke progressives, it's like talking to a wall. But I just want you to know that. And the other thing is, FEMA will give the people that lost their homes, multi-million-dollar homes, huge homes. They get $774 from FEMA. Now, illegals who come into this country illegal, let's say the guy's from Syria and he's a bomb maker, a possible known terrorist. Well, when I went down to the border, they never do facial recognition. They don't check anything. You just load them up on a bus, go to an NGO down in San Diego. You get your driver's license. You get free housing, free food. And get this, they get $1,200 a month and free housing. Where does that leave the people that had their homes destroyed by these woke progressive leaders? Where's that? So something to think about. But anyway, this is Crowjo. I also go by Coach T. I hope all you are safe out there and these fires don't harm anybody else. But it really comes down to leadership. This wasn't global warming. This was nothing to do with global warming. This is all about leadership and doing the right thing. You can't be an environmental wacko and then go, oh my gosh, this terrible fire, it's global warming. No, you didn't clear cut. You didn't have water. You didn't fund the fire department. So if you want to debate me, I am always available for debate. Or you can just write something nice or nasty. I don't care. I'm pretty thick-skinned. So anyway, everybody take care out there. I hope everything's safe. All right, Crowjo out.